now with our GMA cover story. With nearly $8.8 billion lost to scams last year, and the largest percentage being through social media. This morning, we're helping you survive the digital waters and avoid online scams with one of our favorite sharks, Robert Herjavec, who is also CEO of Sideris, a global cybersecurity company. Robert, thank you for being here. Always love having you here. And, you know, there's all the amount of losses that we just talked about, $8.8 billion. These scams, they've risen over the years. Who are the biggest, victims, or who are the ones that they're aimed at?
You know, it's funny. It used to be older people or really young people, but with everybody working from home, we've all let our guard down. You know, in the past, we'd be at the office, an email comes, doesn't look right, we'd be vigilant. Now we're all at home getting personal emails, work emails. And what we always tell people is, if it's too good to be true, it is. You're not that sexy. There isn't a woman in Russia that wants... For most people, you're not that sexy. There isn't a woman in Russia that wants to meet you. You didn't win a lottery that you didn't enter.
But they're getting so much better with that little personal hook.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, my gosh, George, they're so good now that even I sometimes get these emails from banks. They look exactly like that. What I always tell people is look at the email address. If it doesn't have the actual address of the bank in there, it's not real. And the other thing is, no bank or financial institution will ever ask for your PIN number or personal data.
I got one of those from Venmo this morning.
You did?
Yeah, they wanted the PIN number.
Did
you outsmarted
I did not, but I thought about it for a second. Because my daughters are always using Venmo in the middle of the night. I wanted to know.
I just feel so bad. I offended Michael Strahan.
No, you didn't. No. My sexiness is intact. I'm fine.
And so we're going to have a little fun. We have some scuba divers that represent our viewer questions. We're going to start out with Sachi because we want to make sure that everybody can navigate these digital waters and make it out safely. Let's take a listen to Sachi's question.
Hi, Robert. There's so many scams on social media and the internet, which not only target teens like me, but my parents as well. Are there any signs I should know about to tell if something is a scam right away?
The first thing I always tell people is check the email address where it comes from, right? You can see it, we call it the header, which is the front part of the email. Check that, because if it's not legitimate, it'll have a different email address, or it'll have a different ending, like a dot something as opposed to a .com. And the other thing is grammatical. Today, like George said, they look so good. The graphics are very real. Look for the grammatical errors in there.
Next question is from John on Instagram. He wants to know, which affordable products or services could a human use to be protected from scams?
There's a variety of products out there that you can buy, but the two areas I really like is most browsers give you the option of keeping your password. I like using those because the more passwords you got out there, the more at risk you are. And the other one is two-factor authentication. So you know when you go to pay stuff, it says, would you like to set up two-factor authentication? And I know most of us go, oh my gosh, that is such a hassle. I don't want to do that. But I got to tell you, that is one of the safest things you can do. It's called the challenge and response system.
It's probably more of a challenge to try to get your money back or to lose your money. So here's another one from a video from Brianna. And she's asking a question most of us probably consider in the workplace. Let's check it out.
Hi, Robert. I work for Blue Green Vacations. Should I use my personal smartphone for work purposes or should I keep it separate?
Most people don't have a choice, right? So I think in general, if your employer is willing to give you a second phone, you should. But if you're using your personal phone for work, use the work applications because you're typically more secure. So instead of using your Yahoo Mail or your Gmail, use Outlook from your employer. And the other thing I always tell people is be careful what you put on your personal phone because there's an issue around privacy in North America as to who owns that phone. If something were to happen work-wise, does your employer have the right to the data on your phone? It's a gray area, so be careful what you put on there, what kind of pictures and other things and data.
I wanted to piggyback on a point that you made as far as allowing the browser to save your password. Are you concerned at all when you do that, that if there's a breach, then they can then easily access your account?
I used to be concerned with that, but I think in general, the larger companies are more secure than the individual at home. So I tend to believe that if one of those big companies gets breached, it's pretty bad. So I'm pretty comfortable with that.
We also have a question about robocalls. This comes from Sherry Smith on Twitter. I'm on a do not call registry, but still get tons of robocalls. Anything we can do?
Gosh, you know, George, there were 19 billion robocalls, or sorry, 5.6 billion robocalls last year, which is 19 robocalls for every person in the United States. So first thing, when you try to block any numbers, but it's hard because, you know, we all get so many calls. First thing I tell people is never say hello. Always pause for a second and see if the person at the other end, because what happens is these things are automated, they're waiting for you to trigger the call. These are all computer generated. So the minute you say hello, they go into a real script. But if you don't say anything, then they don't know what to do. That's probably the best piece of advice.
Yeah, and block
Isn't that
those.
interesting?
Yep.
Yeah.
You block those numbers.
Block those numbers.
I probably got a few friends. I acted like they were robocalls. And blocked those numbers too. But
That was me calling Michael. Why did you block me?
Robert, I never block you. You're always good with me. It's always great to have you too. Thank you so much for that advice. And you know, the Sharks, they're going to be swimming with us on GMA all week long. Barbara Corcoran is here tomorrow. So tweet us your real estate questions for her using the hashtag Sharks on GMA.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.